from Mavstar Observatory. As you can see, it's very early hours over here in the UK. The sun is just coming up over there on the horizon, as you can see. Obviously, today is the 17th of the month, and you know what that means. We pull out the SD cards of the TriMag and the magnetosphere sensor, and we talk a little bit about that. So I just want to say big thanks to the people that have been supporting the observatory. It's real difficult times at the moment for a lot of us, and for those people that are still standing by, the lines and supporting us is just amazing at this point in time. So kudos to you guys. And I just want to say this. You see this field that we're looking at here yesterday, I've seen something really unusual. I know it's a little bit off the beaten track, but we are going to get into some data, so just bear with me. But I've seen something really unusual yesterday here. A fox attacked a cat. It chased it over the field, and I was lucky enough to be there at the time it did it, and it grabbed the cat and shook it terribly. I thought, it was going to kill it there and then, but the cat managed to get away. And you know what cats are like? They are scratchers and biters and hissers, and it managed to get away and bolted over that little fence there that you can see in the garden just there and got away. And I know these cats go into this field. I watch them regularly go into this field, and I see them regularly jumping back over that little fence with a mouse in the mouth. So they're hunting and they're being hunted. And for a fox, to see a fox attack a cat was just unreal, but it got away, and I bet you that cat never goes back in that field again to hunt another mouse. It was just amazing. But there's a little bit of a note before we get into the details of the pole shift, guys. Some of you obviously will know what I'm talking about if I mention the number 144, or if we've had a brief discussion about things that resonate with us. I want to just say right now, guys, you may not understand what I'm talking about, but what we was discussing on a brief note about things that resonate with us, I just want to say that they're more real than what you know. That's all I want to say. And how can I put this into some... Okay, I know that there's some people out there in our world that we live with that are real gentle beings, human beings, and you can just tell by listening to them for a few minutes that they're really gentle and innocent, and they've got no idea of the things that can take place in our world. I mean, some really ugly things take place on our earth, and you know that, guys. Wow, the sun's really starting to come above the tree line over there now. But I just want to say this. With regards to those things that resonate with each other, yeah, they're real. And they're more real than what you can even imagine. And, what I just want to say is don't try and push at this moment. I've got something behind me that follows me, helps me. Trust me, it does help me. I'll just say this now. There's no way I could have ever written the code for the TriMag system without some form of help. You've got to realise that. Right? I'm good, but I'm not that good. I could never have come up with a universal equation one morning and, shared that with you guys. And there is something else out there. That's all I want to say. There's something else out there. And it is like a guardian to us. It watches over us. It helps us. And all you've got to do is shine a little bit brighter in your life, and you will attract it. If you haven't already, you may well have already have drew this to you, or these things to you. Right, so just bear that in mind. And for the weaker people, the innocent people out there, we look at this universe, and all I can say is there's nothing wicked in the universe at all. You know, wicked things happen on this planet every day. You know, there are mean people out there, and you know that. But there's nothing mean when you leave the atmosphere of this Earth and you go out into the solar system, and you go out beyond the solar system and even beyond the galaxy. You know, there's nothing evil about anything that is taking place. You know, suns, supernovae, and it's the natural thing. It's part of nature. That is the nature of a sun, eventually, to supernovae. I know we call it the solar constant, our sun, that we're looking at right now, rise above the horizon. But it's not constant. It won't last forever. It has got a sell-by date, which will expire at one point, and hopefully by that point we'll have reached a technological advancement, hopefully with the help of some other things at the right point in time, and you know, we will leave this solar system and move on to another one. And you know, for some races of beings out there, that's been the norm for many eons of years, if you like. But there's an important thing I want to just, you know, bring to those people that probably feel vulnerable and all that, you know, bringing it back down to just the simplicities of things. Yeah, nothing goes to waste in this universe, you know, absolutely nothing. It's a giant recycling thing. When suns supernovae, they explode, yeah, with a great force. To some people it's really violent and exotic and, you know, catastrophic, but it's part of the nature of the universe in which we live. And we're very fortunate to be able to be close enough to a sun where it provides life on Earth for many things. But it's not going to last forever. And I'm not saying it's going to end in our lifetimes, but it's not going to last forever. But the main point is that after the supernovae, you know, the catastrophic explosion of a sun, you know, that very simple thing, gravity, starts to work again. It never ends, and it pulls all the interstellar gas back into small objects which become big objects, and they in turn have a larger gravity and they attract more things, and there's more collisions. And you've probably seen some videos how things put back together from interstellar gas. You know, we are now privileged to have the Hubble telescope show us how, you know, interstellar gas, you know, works and creates more solar systems, and it all begins again. It's a reincarnation of, you know, a solar system and many solar systems, and solar systems that can support life on planets like our own. So, you know, what I wanted to say to those people that are in some form of doubt of what are we doing here, what's it all about, you know, I just want to say that there's a great plan, and, you know, there is such a thing called fate, and fate is part of that plan, and we're all part of that plan. And what's taking place right now is not a diversion from the plan. It is meant to happen. And it's all about, you know, realising that and being at peace with it. You know, we live in a hostile environment, if you want to look at it as that. You know, there are many hostile things that can happen to even our Earth. We can have a meteorite hit it and destroy the Earth. You know, there are things that travel faster than we can even imagine out in our universe. And it's only by the grace of God, really, that they don't hit our planet. You know, we really have been given a fair crack of the whip on this planet, and we've reached the point of where we are right now. But it doesn't mean that things are going to last forever. You've got to remember that. But what you have to remember, I think, is the important thing is that nothing will ever go to waste. A lifetime could be for some people, 35 years, and it comes to an end. It could be 85 years and it comes to an end. But I think you'll agree with me in the simplistic terms that a lifetime is simply a lifetime, no matter how long it lasts. time is only relevant to, you know, that person at that time, and it will be a lifetime regardless. So I know it's been a bit of a deviation from the norm, and I'm sure you all up for, you know, the topic of pole shift, which I was thinking about calling it something else, something a little bit more glamorous, like, you know, because pole shift is being used very widely. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but, you know, I think we should give it a code name or something like Viper anomaly, or Viper 1 anomaly, or something like that. I don't know. You give me your thoughts down there. What should we code name pole shift? So, you know, that we know what it is. Obviously, it's pole shift, but we need to give it a little bit more of a facelift, I think, to try and draw in more people, get them aware of what's going on in their world with regards to the poles reversing. And yeah, just give me your thoughts on that in the comment section. Okay, guys, so we're going to crack on now with the information that we usually send out on the 17th, and let's get on with it. Let's say no more. Okay, so let's get straight into the data. Where is the magnetic North Pole? Okay, well, as you can see, we're at 83 degrees by 46 days, 48 hours, 96 minutes north, by 126 degrees by 41 days, 19 hours and 17 minutes east. It's moved just short of 3.5 miles, so a little less progression again for the second month on the run. But when we zoom out, guys, we'll see it is still on its way, tracking towards Siberia, and that almost closer to the 40-degree mark, as we'll see as we zoom out right here. Let's just get rid of that and carry on zooming out, and here comes the 40-degree mark, and we can see how it is tracking easterly towards Siberia. So nothing has changed in the direction, not much has changed in the speed. It is still heading towards Siberia, and that's the coordinates if you're following it and pinning it on your own Google Earth as the months go by. So let's have a look then at the Trimag and magnetosphere data. And we're over here at Pole Shift News, and we're just looking at the Trimag data over the last month. We can see there's a little bit of a V early on in the recordings of the data, but pretty much the same as last month. We're bumping 13 degrees a lot, which is an indication that we are still tracking easterly, as we already know, towards Siberia at a steady rate. Let's go and have a look at the magnetosphere data. And on the magnetosphere data, if I just pull down the chart so we can have a look at this recent month's worth of readings, we can see that it's starting to climb back up towards the 200 microteslas. And I'll tell you what's significant about that. If we go back to this time last year and have a look where the magnetosphere readings was, what we'll see is around about that time. So we're on the 17th of the 3rd to the 4th, so let's have a look at 17th of the 3rd. There we go. So here we are. We can see that it did creep up around a year ago at the same time to the 200. But if we go a bit further back from there, we'll see that it was below 200. So I'm just wondering whether, you know, there is something significant about planetary alignment. Maybe if a few of you have got the time to invest and you want to look into that at this point in time of the year, we might be aligning up with certain planets, and that could affect our magnetosphere strength. Just putting that out there, guys. Like I say, if you've got the time, perhaps go over to JPL, you know, send back the date to the 17th of 2019, you know, or around about the 14th of the 3rd 2019 to the 17th of the 4th 2019, then compare it with 2020. Just see what planets have aligned up there and see if there's anything anything significant. Now I do know that you know, planets, the further out we go they're all on different orbitable patterns, but I'm just wondering if there's something in there. Might be worth your time investing, having a look. And JPL is an easy program to use, and it's good to set, it's easy to send back the date to that point in time. Just wondering why at this time last year, we was at a little incline in the magnetosphere reading. It could be just our orientation at this point of year in our solar system. We might be aligning up with something in the galaxy. We just don't know. It's just just putting that out there. Maybe if you've got a bit of extra time to invest in that, and just give me what you come up with. Let's hear what you've got to say on the matter, or what your findings are. This is a joint effort at the end of the day. If you want to use the data that we put up on the website to come up with your own conclusions and bring it to our attention, do so. That's what it's all about, guys. Remember, there is only one of me here, and with everything else that I'm doing here at the observatory, time is getting thinner and thinner the more we do. So yeah, just putting that out there. So guys, to finish off, atmospheric oxygen is at still over 21%. We've got CO2 parts per million at 427, which is strange because, if we're listening to the news, 90% of crude oil has stopped being sold or is not being sold, and therefore that tells us that 90% of the fuel is not being burnt. So the CO2 should have come down if mankind is responsible for it. But as you know, as well as I know, that it's not. CO2 is just a stealth tax. That's pretty much what they've come up with in order to tax the world, its money, as they do. The muon count is slightly down by 30 on the hour per square meter per hour. The reading this morning was at 531 muons per hour per square meter, which is still a lot, but just slightly less than what we last recorded. If you remember, it was at 560. I'm going to dedicate a web page to monitor the muons weekly, so I can put up the data there, and you can see how the the cosmic radiation changes from week to week. So like I say, there's a lot going on, guys, here at the observatory. We are still looking hungrily for someone to have one of our muon detectors in Brazil. So if you know someone in Brazil who is reliable, has a computer, maybe we can rig up a battery backup supply for the muon, just in case there is power cuts, because I know in some of these countries, that like India, there are power cuts frequently. So we can probably continue to keep our data coming in, even though there is a power cut for at least 24 hours. So yeah, if you know someone in Brazil that will take one of our muon detectors and a magnetometer, please ask them. And if you're in Brazil yourself, get in touch with me. Leave a comment down there in the comment section. I'll get in touch with you, and we'll link up on Skype or something like that. I'm probably because we're not really getting anywhere with Australia in South Central, so I'm probably inclined to, as Perth does lie down quite southerly on the continent, I'm probably going to send that out to Jeff, one of our superstars, who's already got one of our magnetometers. So I'll probably send him out a muon detector, and it'll give us an idea of what's happening in the strong, intense magnetic intensities on our planet, and in Brazil, in the weakest. I really want to get this nailed and sorted out, so that the equipment is out there and we're getting the data come back, because I really, really want to know, and I bet you guys do, is how much of the Earth's magnetic intensity in the South Atlantic anomaly is affected by amounts of radiation inbound, i.e. muons, as a result of collisions in the upper atmosphere. So it's really important that we do get that out there to Brazil, and I'll be speaking to Jeff in Perth over the coming week. I know I spoke to Richard on the Gold Coast. Got his name right. For some reason, if you remember, I always used to call him Peter for some reason. But I spoke to Richard over on the Gold Coast. He believes he had coronavirus, but you know what, guys, he is recovered from it and he's doing well. So well done, Richard, and stay safe over there. And by all means, when you get 5 minutes, drop us over your data that you've got over the last month, and we'll whack it up on the website for people to see. I dare say over the coming weeks we will have data from Arizona. Scott down there will be sending his data over to the UK for us, so we can add that to the global Mavstar data. And we're continuing. It is a bit frustrating here at the observatory at the moment. I'm waiting for parts for the Clydros silver generators. Things have slowed down a little bit, but more frustrating than that, guys, is I have ordered 3 reels of 3D printer filament, and not one of them has arrived today. So I've had this 3D printer all set up ready to go. I've even designed the muon detector case and other things as well for the Clydros silver generators to make them look a little bit more professional, even though they are prototypes, as well as other things that we're going to use that for, like building the cloud chamber components with. But you know what, the post has just died on us. Oh, the silver bullion arrived the other day, and there was just 2 thin, really thin, pure silver rods in there. And what had happened is I'd ordered 4 foot of silver bullion at 10 gauge, and some woman had received my order who had ordered these 7-inch by about 5 gauge wire rods. So there's been a bit of chasing up by the supplier to get that back out to me, but we're still waiting for pumps. We have had the voltage regulators, the buck converters, come this morning in the post. We've got the reservoirs, so we're just waiting for a few more components, and we'll get those out to the 4 people that are waiting at the moment. If you want one, I have over-ordered the parts, enough to make another 2 silver Clydros generators. If you want one of the Mavstar Observatory Clydros generators, it's £80 plus postage and packaging. Leave it in the PayPal down below in the description if you want one. And we'll get one built for you, and we'll send that out. It's just another little way of us earning a little bit of revenue here at the observatory. We don't make a lot on these, Clydros generators. And if you don't know what the Clydros generators for, then do a bit of research. At this time, more than anything, you perhaps might feel it worth having one around. Even if it's just to put as a hand rub on your hands to sanitize them, or something else. Sterilize your work surfaces with it, or as you can take it orally. But I can't tell you exactly what it does for legal reasons, as if you don't know what a Clydros generator is and you don't know what Clydros silver is, then please don't order it. It's as simple as that. Do your research, you'll find out why me and my wife are drinking it and using it as well. And if you look at how much they cost, and how much a bottle 100 mils of Clydros silver costs, well, you'll realise very quickly that it'll pay for itself in less than a week. But there you go. So guys, there's a link down there if you want to support our observatory. Why would you want to do that? Because we are covering solely one of the largest events that's ever happened in mankind, despite COVID-19 taking place. That is just a flea on the dog's back. Trust me, by the time it comes around to the magnetic reversal, everyone will be aware of it around the world, and it will be equally as fascinating. And we're probably only 3 to 7 years away from that really taking place. Can you believe it, guys? For the first time in 780,000 years, we are here with this new anomaly, which we might codename Viper. As I said earlier on in the video, we don't know. Give me your idea. What should we codename the pole shift, just to refresh it a little bit? You tell me. Put your comments down in the section, and please, if you haven't already, support us. What we're doing here is an observatory, and we don't just talk. We provide solutions, we build equipment, we get it out there globally. We are an observatory at the end of the day, and there's a lot worse things you can do than support a scientific observatory. I'm not going to go on anymore. I'm just going to say, guys, you have a great day. Peace be with you all. I love you all, and as always, bye for now.